Hey everybody, okay. Welcome to the we're going right now. Welcome to episode, I don't remember the episode. Shit. Sorry.
What was that?
I'm in a bit of a rush.
Shut up! No! You're not starting this fucking episode off with a pun. God damn it. Why did I expect this? I was like, Matt has an idea, let's go with it. And then he fucking pulls this shit out. Fucking hell. I give up.
Welcome back to
North American Scum,
a podcast where we discuss our unimportant opinions on important and unimportant albums. Today's album is pretty damn important, I would say, in Rush's career, Fly By Night.
I mean, important in the sense that, like, yeah, it's a building point to what we're coming up to as the big Rush album. That's the first, like, I have to assume it's the first proggy album that they've really done with Corrosive Steel. I mean, I haven't listened to it. So.
You're going to get that in Corrosive Steel, and not to hype it up, but we're going to get hit by, like, the big fucking brick wall that is 2112.
Yeah, I knew 2112 was that big album with like 50 different parts or whatever. I mean, after we had done the Ninja Sex Party episode, the one where we talked about their cover, what was it, 69, I had gone and like checked out some of 2112 and all the lyrics and whatnot, and like made some comparisons. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I'm excited for what this is. And you know, the whole joke is that Matt loves Rush so much that I have not listened to too much Rush. So yeah. I just believe him whenever he says that Rush is good. And that failed me on like the last album where I was like, this is fine. This is a cool record, but it's not like amazing or anything. Now, This record though, yeah, kind of a different story, isn't it?
It's quite a different story, and it's quite a big fucking step up.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of want to get into to the first track off of it, Anthem.
Yes. Because
just from this one song, holy shit, it is an improvement over self-titled in every single way right off the bat.
Pretty much. Neil Peart is here. You can hear it right from the start. That rapid-fire drum fill that he opens the song with immediately gave me the impression that things have improved greatly on the instrumental front.
Oh, yeah. Big time. And honestly, a lot of other things are improved. The mix is cleaner.
Yes.
It's more interesting in the composition.
Yes.
It's more... Oh my god, it's more interesting in the lyrics.
Yes.
And
yes,
as you said,
yes.
More than anything, drums.
Yeah, the obvious thing is like fucking Neil Peart and his drum set. He's fucking crazy man who can drum. This is the drumming I was looking for on the first album that I didn't know he wasn't on. So yeah, I'm happy. But yeah, the guitars are louder. The mix seems to be more punchy than the previous record. It's cleaner. And everything here is just a slight improvement over what maybe like the first intro track of the first album did. And I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons to the first album, just as in like, oh yeah, it's better. I mean, obviously.
Well, this is almost I honestly think this is kind of a sister album to self-titled. Yeah. And I'll get more into that as it goes on, because there's one song on this that I think literally just sounds like it could have been in self-titled.
I feel like a lot of songs could have been on self-titled. But the difference here is that the songwriting is better, the musicianship is better, the mix is better. I think that's the biggest thing for me is like I feel more punch from this. I went back and listened to the first record before this because it's so short. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And you could just hear the difference from like the first track on that album and the first track on this run.
Yeah. But on top of that, for me, this is what I'm going to geek out about the most, is the massive improvement in the lyrics.
Yes, 100%.
And for this first song, Anthem, this is... Okay, before anything, did you have to read the book Anthem in high school?
No, I actually did not read that book. We both went to the same high school.
Okay,
so
I did have to read the book Anthem.
I don't know why. I mean, I'm ahead of you. I graduate ahead of you.
You're ahead of me by a bit, yeah. So I guess you just missed it. But
yeah, probably. This
song is probably 100 times more interesting than the book because fuck Ayn Rand. And I do need to say...
So this is how you know Ayn Rand.
No, I knew Ayn Rand before that.
Oh, okay.
This song is a perfect example, though, of how you can enjoy music that you disagree with. Okay. Because this is like a tribute to Anthem.
But the book by Ayn Rand, right?
The book by Ayn Rand, puke, based on the philosophy of objectivism, puke. So
Okay, well,
it's like I disagree with what it's saying, but it's presented in such an interesting way that I'm like, I don't care. It's like separating the art from the artist. But it's separating the art from the art.
well,
It's cool.
I'll tell you what I got from it because I had no idea it was connected to that philosopher until you mentioned it. It's that the track for me talks about freedom that one has to explore in their heart, mind, and nature to do whatever one desires. That's pretty much it. So I don't know if that is in any way close to what was it? Objectivism, right? Is
I feel like it's objectivism only because of the line in verse 2, begging hands and bleeding hearts will only cry out for more, which is saying people that you want to give stuff to or people in need, if you give them stuff, they're just going to keep on asking for more and more, and that's one of the main points of objectivism, where you can't help somebody else so they become reliant on you. Which is just like not to make this a philosophy podcast, but that's one of my biggest problems with objectivism because it's not true.
I mean, even if you tried to make it a philosophy podcast, I would immediately run out of topics after like maybe 2 minutes because I don't know anything about philosophy, and I hated the professor that taught my philosophy class in college. So, yeah, you're not getting that far. For now, we're just going to look at Rush lyrics, or at least I am, in a sense that like they're pretty simple but very... Well, are these deep to look into? I'd say it has a little more. It has a lot more than self-titled for sure.
There is a noticeable change in depth. It's definitely not the most depth that's ever been in Rush lyrics by a long shot.
That's what I figured.
But it's still miles more interesting than we have previously seen.
Yeah, for sure. Everything about this song, the instrumentality, the composition, the playing is more virtuosic.
The instrumentality? This is actually a secret Eva tie-in.
No one's gonna know this, man. No one knows. Well, okay, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know what Eva is, but I guess we're talking about philosophy. They might know what Eva is.
Oh, God, wait. There's too many connections. Okay.
No, there's not. Don't lie.
There's too many Okay, Julian, come on. I'm trying the best I can. That's the next song.
It took me a minute. I looked at my notes. I was like, is that the name of that song? Come on, man. Come on, man. Okay.
That's probably the roughest one I've done. Okay.
Oh, whatever. It
but,
doesn't matter. Best
I can. Even if my transition was terrible, holy shit, the transition between Anthem and Best I Can is so smooth.
Yes.
I think that the sound of Anthem into Best I Can, and further you're going to see into the next song, the consistency here is to die for.
Yeah, the pacing's fucking great. But I want to mention something. On the last Rush episode, you said that those songs on that album sounded like they belong on a jukebox.
Uh-huh.
Well, if those songs on that album were a jukebox, then this song tells me that I'm driving away from the diner, down the highway, top down with my sunglasses on, wind in my hair, blasting this out of my speakers.
Do you want to know something amazing?
What?
I have listened to Fly By Night, the CD, in my car with my windows down, driving down the highway at least like 17 different times. It is one of the most perfect... Rush is one of the most perfect bands for that, and this is one of the most perfect albums for that.
This specific song is what I think of when I hear that.
I kind of got hit by... I don't know how to describe it. The best way I can describe it is the sound of this album. The guitars specifically, this sounds like prettier and nice rock. I don't know how to describe it.
It's just regular hard rock. It's more a more traditional hard rock song, but it's something more in line with the first record. The difference is that it might be the best song they've ever done in this style, this very relaxing, like easygoing hard rock style, because of course everyone has just gotten better at their instruments, and of course Neil Peart was already at that point to begin with. But yeah, they sound much more talented. Mm-hmm. This is more varied compared to pretty much, I'd say, anything on the first record. I'd rather listen to this song if this is like the type of sound I'm going to listen to for Rush, because I know there's others, but...
Yeah, no, I agree. And honestly, come to think of it, Working Man, the big track off of the first one, just kind of feels like it's on the same level as a lot of the songs on this record.
Yeah, pretty much, because Working Man was the best song on that record.
Oh yeah, no, this is just a consistently huge step up from everything. I will say, lyrically... This is tied for the most like the first record, though.
Yeah, I'd say that. I mean, like, this one seems the most, second and most radio friendly. I think there's another one coming up later that really feels like that. But the lyrics here describe someone who's hell bent on doing things their way, telling people who they're trying to drag them down, that they'll go out fighting even if they won't get too far anyway, which may be, like, I don't know, comparison to the band in the music industry, if I had to guess, if anything. That sounds like what it could be.
Honestly, to me, it just sounds like more laid-back, fucking around Geddy Lee that you had on the first record.
Yeah, pretty much.
This time it's supported by the more interesting compositions, and mostly, I love the verses in this song, compositionally, more than anything.
I think it's the guitars for me that do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that you brought that up, because in Beneath, Between, and Behind, holy shit. That intro is just... That's what I was talking about with the pretty guitars.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can describe it. It's such like... It's kind of like crappy diction to just call it pretty or nice. But in the world of hard rock, that just sounds nice.
Melodic, maybe? Maybe that's what you're trying to go for? They're not terribly melodic, though. They're just...
That's not the way I can put it. They're like...
really nice, clean hard rock riffs.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, clean maybe might be the best way to put it. I mean, when you think of clean, I think of overproduced, but this is a different type of clean.
It's a different cleanliness.
This is a clean.
It was a light scrub. There was no soap. They just kind of like they rubbed their hands over it until it was shiny.
It's like it's because it's still punchy. That's the thing. Like, you could make these guitars thin and shrill, and they would not sound good at all, and like have like the bass and drums like pull everything together. But no, these guitars have that punch to it that.
Yeah.
Like, some rock records just don't pull off. Like, sometimes they're too high-pitched or too much in the high end, and it just sounds like ass. So...
It's a pretty unique sound to me.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, like, the composition of it is mostly what impresses me, and the sound of it.
Yeah.
But, because it's, to me, Beneath, Between, and Behind, alliteration. This song isn't, like, not my favorite. I think it's just another great hard rock song, but not as memorable as I'd like it to be, maybe, because I love the fucking lyrics.
I love the lyrics to death, and honestly, the chorus is memorable enough to me because I always thought that he was saying booty cracks in the third line.
What?
Instead of beauty cracks appear. And that was enough to keep this song stuck in my brain. So good job on that.
The chorus is the most catchy part. It's the part that I hear in my head whenever I do think of the song. The riff, the drums, and his vocals.
This is honestly, well, you know what sticks in my head almost the most is on that last verse when Neil Peart changes up the emphasis on the drums. And like pretty much the entire flow of the song gets flipped just for that last verse before throwing you back into the chorus again. This song has enough interesting stuff that it does, and we haven't even talked about the lyrics yet.
Yeah,
to keep itself as a standout track. I honestly, for me, on these first three tracks, I feel like number one, Best I Can, then Beneath, Between, and then Anthem. But they're all so close to each other.
I feel like it goes from like 1 to 3. Like, I like Anthem the most, and then Best I Can, and then Beneath. But either way, let's talk about the lyrics, because I think we both are excited for that one.
Oh yeah.
We get a history lesson on this track.
Colonialism sucks. The song.
Yeah. Describes the formation and greatness of the United States after earning its independence. Most of this track is looked through rose-colored glasses, but Peart starts to imply that the perfect image here is not exactly all real.
Yeah.
Like, there's some of the lyrics. The Beneath the Beauty cracks appear. The whole thing.
And the line, why do their shadows bow in fear?
Yes.
As if the shadows is like their history.
Yeah, he pulls the curtain back all the way in the third verse, as if like he mentions how old America's principles are betrayed, and that's the whole bowing line and whatnot. This is all surprising to me, coming from a band in Canada. Like, honestly, I always forget
that makes it more. That makes it more believable to me.
Yeah, I just thought it was pretty funny that a Canadian band is, like, telling the history of the United States. But, I mean, like, it's from a perspective of, like, you can see where it went wrong. They're pointing out, like, oh, this is this is what happened to them. It's not, like...
Yeah, it's more of a criticism
than
a history lesson to me. And that's why I think it works very well coming from Canadianians.
Yeah, but Beneath, Between, Behind, I like the song. Not my favorite on the track list.
Now, while this was kind of a showcase of Neil Peart's lyric ability, then, by God, By-Tor and the Snow Dog is going to be a showcase of his drumming ability. This song,
not just Neil Peart. like the fucking. This is an introduction to the whole fucking like band almost. Not an introduction.
Oh yeah, no.
Like a showcase.
The entire band. Yeah, no. This song has always been like a sales pitch. For me, this has always been a sales pitch for Rush.
Yes.
This next song.
Because this is like the first 8-minute behemoth that begins to show their liking towards longer songs with multiple parts, each signifying a piece in a story.
This is the first multi-part song that they ever did. So yeah, this is pretty much. This is paving the way for a lot of future rock operas that they're going to end up making.
Yeah.
And one of the things you always have to dig into in that regard is the lyrics and what's behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So to get that out of the way quick before we tackle the actual fucking monster that is how this song sounds, just gonna go over the inspiration for this track. So the manager for Rush's manager, I can't remember his name. Mr. Rush, John Rush. He had 2 dogs. He had a German Shepherd and this tiny little like baby white dog. So they were called By-Tor and the Snow Dog, respectively. So this song is just kind of built around the idea of these 2 dogs in like a fantastical fantasy setting fighting.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because the guitar and bass playing in this track, it's representative of those dogs fighting.
It's like I know that there's guitar and bass and all the drums, like almost like fighting. You can kind of hear it, but at the same time they play together sometimes. But I think I'm more interested in the sound. Like you can hear a high pitched guitar, like a very just not high pitched, but squealing guitar. But then there's also what seems to be this growling sound, and those two play off more each other than the actual instruments do. So I can't tell what that even is. Like
so this is what I want to think it is.
It sounds like a dirty bass.
I want to think that it's a bass going through some like heavy fucking distortion and almost a phaser that's just like affecting it while it's really low.
I can't tell what it is, but it's fucking like whatever one it is, it sounds like one of those dogs fighting, or both of them are playing around each other. And they figure out how to make the song seem like there's actually some sort of battle going on with the way each different sound plays with each other, and it's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the low like growling bass is supposed to be By-Tor, because spoiler alert, the Snow Dog wins, and the By-Tor noise is not present once the Snow Dog wins.
Okay.
But the battle itself, going through the actual battle section of the song, it constantly is just building energy very, very, very slowly with guitar solo against bass rips. And when it climaxes, Neil pulls out some of the most wicked drum fills I have heard in my entire life before the finishing blow is seemingly like dealt, leaving you in this space filled only with like rare flicks of drumming from Neil, and what I like to interpret as kind of like the exhausted pants of the Snow Dog.
Yeah.
From Alex's guitar personified through singular little like sparse guitar strums. And then what's cool is as the dust is clearing, lyric from the song, the frequency of drums and the chord progression of the said guitar strums are increasing their tension before Neil rockets you back into the final section of the instrumental. And oh my god, that final section of the instrumental is just perfection. It feels, honestly, the final part, it's got this, it's like a sexy victory. It's like I just won a Mario Kart tournament and had sex at the same time.
What fucking like?
It's very good.
What's your standard, man? What's your standards for like victory? What the fuck? Like that's what victory sounds like to you, like sex and Mario Kart.
That's what this victory sounded like.
Okay. Damn it. Now whenever I hear that, I'm going to only be able to think of what you just said. Sex and Mario Kart? What a weird combination.
That's the title of the episode.
Oh, yeah, for sure now. But, okay. Fucking, a lot of there's so much shit in this song that I love, but, like, there's something that happens, you kind of skipped over it, where, like, does the time signature change in the middle of the song?
I don't think it's the time signature.
Because his drumming, just like they play with their expectations, and when he starts his drum fill and the band keeps playing, like they all like play their notes at the same time, but then they stop and then they come back in, and they stop at a different time and they come back in, and just it fucking trips me up because it doesn't seem like it's in 4/4, or are they just playing like with the expectations?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, so what they're doing, there probably is a term for this. I don't know what it's called, but it's they have their phrase, and they are taking the musical phrase and removing one beat from it every time they play it again.
Okay.
I've seen that happen quite a few times. I've sung that happen back in choir. So I was just like, I recognized it when it happened because I listened to this after I'd been in choir for a while.
Okay.
And that was just like a warm-up thing that you would do, where you'd get a phrase and you'd like add a note to it or take a note off and stuff.
Okay. Because it trips me up when I hear it.
It is really cool.
I love that.
And I am definitely going to go and research what that's called now that you've brought it up, because I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah, but either way, the song makes like one last transition to that fast-paced sound that began the track, with Lee telling the aftermath of who won, who's victorious, and it ends up being the Snow Dog. And this whole song is a fucking journey that is definitely... It shows what Rush can do and what they will fucking be doing in the future. And I like hearing this makes me excited for the more complex songs that I know for a fact are coming later.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And now I've talked about this. I brought it up for a point. That pure, clean, scrubbed off with their bare hand guitar that starts off Fly By Night is literally heaven on earth.
This is
kind of transition out of By-Tor.
Yeah, because it just goes into this easygoing sound that leads us out of the epic song that was By-Tor and the Snow Dog. And it's still the hard rock sound. It's still very clean with this one, but this one in particular feels more like a regular pop song. It sounds like
it's fitting because it's the title track.
Yeah, that too. It feels like it's more built for radio, which is unusual from Rush, but it works. I think it's a catchy song. I love the chorus.
You know, it's one of my favorite songs on the record, and it's kind of funny that the one that's built to be the most radio friendly is my favorite on the record.
Yeah, and it's not surprising that the one most built to be radio friendly is maybe my least favorite on the record. So
really?
Not my least favorite, but it's not up there. Flyby, like I like it, but then I just heard By-Tor and the Snow Dog, so I'm kind of perplexed by how complex and amazing that song was. I mean, like in that sense, it might be a good transition of like pacing. It actually is. I actually think that most of these songs on this record are paced.
Oh, the pacing on this record is amazing. Honestly, I will say, objectively, Fly By Night is not up there on the record for me. But I just have a lot of sentimental attachment to the song.
Yeah, it sounds fucking good though. I mean, this is a really good track. I think it's, for me, it's the one point of it like not being my least favorite is enhanced by the lyrics, which the song seems to take perspective of someone who feels stuck in life. Maybe they want to leave, find something new, start a new chapter of their life, fly away. That's what I got from it.
It almost sounds like somebody who's like stuck at like a crappy office job, and they want to go and start a band.
Yeah. Is that Rush? This might have been inspired by the actual...
I just get vibes that this could have been about any of the band members' thoughts before they really got into the band and started making real music.
I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like that's what a lot of musicians may feel. They want to get out of that and want to do something with it. And obviously Rush is a band that they definitely did, and that's exciting to hear. Yeah, but Fly By Night, I like this track. I love the catchy chorus. That's probably my favorite part about the entire thing because I have it stuck in my head right now, but not a favorite.
The bridge is great.
Yes, the bridge is great. The bridge is weird. I always forget that his voice is like, I think it's chorused up, or that's what
I think it's, I don't know. Whatever they did with the effects on them, because I think they stacked. I feel like they stacked more than one effect on them.
No, I think it's chorused. It may be phased a little.
Yeah, I think there's a tiny bit of phasing, but it's just enough to make it sound off, and I like that. But talking about pacing, time for acoustic.
folky, more folky sound comes into play at this point. And
at Making Memories.
Yeah, Making Memories has a dual-tracked acoustic guitars complementing Lee's lower register greatly on this track, at least at the beginning of the song.
Oh, yeah, no. Hearing lower register Geddy Lee is always... It's not a breath of fresh air, but it's interesting.
Yeah, because normally you hear him just wailing on a track.
Yeah, he's squealing all of those high notes like crazy. And the switch up to acoustic guitar is a nice change in pace. What's nice is it still manages to hold on to the sound of the rest of the record.
Yeah,
that's what makes it good pacing.
Because it turns into a more rockier version of what it is from the beginning. And Life's in solo takes up a good portion of the whole song, which is it's just really nice to hear. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Neil Peart, and I like how on the last album it was all Alex Lifeson, because Neil Peart wasn't there yet, so he was the best part about it.
And now it's Neil Peart left and right, Neil Peart left and right.
Yeah, him and Geddy.
And honestly, this song is another example, like Best I Can, of being a perfect driving with your windows down song.
Yeah, definitely.
Buy a convertible just to listen to this album.
Yeah, that's funny because this song, to me, seems to be directly about the band's touring life. Because they talk about how they're having a great time with their lives and how their future is bright, but they're also fighting off the homesick feeling that comes with touring. And
I dig this song's lyrics a lot.
Yeah,
it's very sweet, emotional goodness.
So I'm not surprised that the last song was also similar in the sense that someone wants to leave this life that they're in. This song comes after that's about the band or something. So maybe it is about the band. All this stuff, a lot of this is just comparisons, little strings of comparisons that probably don't actually connect, but who knows?
Maybe.
But either way, yeah, I don't have much to say about this song, other than it's a nice change in pace. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just a final track, nice guitars, very folky for Rush.
Yes.
And it's very nice.
And it works very well where it's placed to transition into a Lord of the Rings tribute song.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Rivendell. Holy shit. I love Rivendell to death.
Okay.
This is some of the most a song has represented the atmosphere of its lyrics, and some of the most a song has been able to rope me into said atmosphere it creates.
Okay.
It's like its own little condensed world and story in a single song, and I love it for that.
So this one's a real change in tone. It's a mellow acoustic piece accompanied by Lee's actually soft vocals for once. Behind it, a soft pad floats around the entire track. A couple things, though. I question why Lee is only in the left channel, though. I don't know why he's only in the left ear when I listen to this song.
I think I know why.
Why?
So, in this kind of medieval setting, this sounds like you're sitting in a tavern and a bard is literally singing a song.
Okay.
So you're sitting at your table and you're hearing him from the corner of the room. That's the imagery I always got from it. Because this sounds like a bard's song.
Interesting. I do like that interpretation. But yeah, the other thing is, of course, you mentioned it already, the Lord of the Rings lyrics. So, there's a couple things. For one, I'm barely finding out that this book series was written in the 1940s. That baffles me. I don't know why.
Lord of the Rings is that old?
Yeah, that's what what I'm thinking right now. I'm like, it's that old? Holy shit.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So I was like, whoa. This series is that fucking old? There was a reason why they're talking about it. I'm like, I would have assumed that Lord of the Rings would have been written, I don't know, in the 1970s when maybe this band was coming out and looking for inspirations for songs. Here's this book. No, Lord of the Rings is fucking old. Jesus Christ.
Wait, so when was the first Lord of the Rings movie?
1990 something. I maybe 2000.
So at the point of this was probably a weird thing to rip from.
2001.
Yeah.
But
when this song came out, this had to have been kind of a weirder thing to rip from out of nowhere.
No, but I think that Lord of the Rings is one of the most popular book series of all time. So.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that completely
true.
Breaks that down. But either way.
Yeah, never mind.
So now lyrically, have you seen the movies?
Fuck no.
No. Okay, so now lyrically, I can only think of the movies when I read these lyrics. And if I had to take a guess, lyrically, it's about the ending of the movie, the ending of the third movie. So, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's like after everything has gone down and the main character is actually like relaxing and being able to see his friends again after this long journey. I won't say anything. I mean, I don't know if you care too much about these movies, but
I actually do.
You do? Okay, well, I haven't seen these movies since 2017 when I was fucking pulled into watching all the extended versions of the movies in the span of about 4 days. So I don't remember all that happened because I spent 11 hours worth of sitting down watching a movie that nearly killed me because of its length, especially since I'm not the one to really binge anything. So, yeah, I don't know that's exactly what it's about. If I had to take a guess, that's probably what it's about, the ending. But either way, this song, I really love the slow down. This track is absolutely beautiful, but I feel like this song did not need to be almost 5 minutes, especially since it doesn't change pretty much throughout the entire thing.
I would say that if this song wasn't as purely unendingly pleasant as it is, because I am able, when I hear this song, to just relax and sink into the sound for the entire 5 minutes easily.
I would agree, because for the most part of like maybe 4 minutes, I sat down and I was like, yeah, this is nice. But like, I just kind of like, after a little bit, I kind of looked up at the clock and I was like, oh, it's still going. Okay.
It's just like barely too long for you.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. But like I said, it's because it just doesn't really change the sound. But if it was 3 minutes, it would have been like maybe the perfect length for this sort of thing, because it doesn't feel like a transitional moment, but it doesn't feel like it's a full song either.
It feels like, honestly, to me, it feels complete. I feel like it feels like a full song just because the atmosphere it was going for was something simple, warm, and nice.
Okay.
But pacing-wise, it does act as a transition.
Pacing-wise, for sure. I mean, like, these last 3 songs have acoustic guitar on them, and that's the only time that it really appears. So.
Yeah, and the transition from Rivendell to In the End, which starts with a transcribed acoustic rendition of the motif that starts Fly By Night, and we both nut when leitmotifs happen.
Whoa, I never noticed that.
You never noticed it?
No, I never noticed that.
Good thing for us that leitmotif drives under the entire song, even when it transitions into the heavier rock.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the rock half of this one and the beginning intro of this one, both, like, they mirror each other with the riffs, the way they kind of go about.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep, they're both following the very intro riff to Fly By Night.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. That's cool.
I love it to death.
Makes me like this song a little bit more.
This song, after that first chorus ends and you get hit by the much heavier rock rendition of that motif, like ripping you out of nowhere, you get kind of ripped back to the first album in sound. The heavy rock part of this sounds the most like the first album than out of anything on this record, in a good way.
In a good way. And I feel like so this track is good, but I'm not too head over heels for it. It makes for a fantastic closing track pacing-wise. But you know what it reminds me of off the first record, which is another song I was not head over heels for either? Before and After. Where it had a very beautiful, great, interesting hook with the intro of the song. But then it transitions to the same old kind of sound that we've kind of been hearing throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, you kind of wish it went for a different direction than it did.
With the way it was going, yeah. But, I mean, I still like the song. This is definitely better than Before and After, and a lot of things on the first record, I think. And overall, pacing-wise, like I said, this is fantastic ending to the record, I think.
Yeah.
The only thing is that I'm also not certain of is the lyrics. I am not 100% on the meaning.
These are probably the least solid lyrics in the track list to me. It seems almost like, honestly, they're so simplistic that it almost seems like he's riffing them out, but I'm sure it's got a message that's just going over my head, or the message is so blatant that you're not really able to take much from it, you know?
Well, I'm not getting it, so... well.
It's not bad lyrics. It's all right. It's like lyrics that you'd hear from the first album.
Yeah. Like I said, it was very similar to that first album. I mean, there's a lot of songs that are similar to that first album, but they're just better. And I think this one is too. But overall, I think everything here is just an improvement.
Yeah, no, literally.
Yeah.
It's just listen to self-titled and then listen to this, and you can tell something fucking shifted.
Yeah, pretty much.
Things are gonna continue to shift in much weirder ways than they did here.
I don't know what to expect except longer songs, crazier instrumentation, just whatever. But should we go into final?
There's some... One weird thing is there's lore in one of these songs that I'm pretty sure like goes into the next album. But we'll get to that when we get to it. But for now, we can go on to the last thoughts.
Yeah, okay. So I'll go first since you're the bigger Rush fan, whatever. Fly By Night, considerable improvement over Rush's debut. Fantastic record overall. The band takes their sound and continues to develop all the things that make it great. It's louder, much cleaner. Their virtuosity has improved, especially with the addition of Neil Peart to the band. And I don't want to dismiss the other two members, Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson, because both of them are major parts of the band that really bring everything to life as well. But Geddy Lee is on another level of drumming that makes everything much more lively. The rest of the band is able to play off each other much better in this record. Geddy Lee's vocals are as good as ever. Fucking, I love the way he screams and yells, and his high-pitched voice is so iconic. Alex Lifeson is still a fantastic guitarist, and a lot of these riffs on here are just absolutely nice to listen to. Ear candy. Like, songs like The Best I Can play to their hard rock strengths, while By-Tor and the Snow Dog shows their development of their progressive rock sound, which I'm sure we're going to hear later. Each track here is memorable, and the record is way more varied than their debut. The pacing between each track is consistent, while still being able to pull off different styles in a very cohesive way. If I had one complaint, it's that the record does drag a little in the second half, but not too much to where it's a little bit boring or uninteresting. There are a lot of songs on here where they are very similar to the first record, which I also wasn't too crazy for. It's just nice music to listen to. But overall, the band are really starting to find themselves, and this record is a jolly good time. Not too much more. Like I said, I did re-listen to the first record before this one, and for me, comparing the two back to back, I felt like it had dropped down in my liking after listening to this one. So, not that it matters, but I'd probably move self-titled to a 6 out of 10 while giving this one a 7.
I'm kind of the same.
Sense. Yeah.
But for me, self-titled would move down to a 6, and this would move to a low 8.
Yeah, I'd say low 8, because I was like, I want to give it an 8, but there's a lot of things in this record where I feel like they can do better. And I know they will do better.
It's still a little rough around the edges. I think that there's lyrical issues in a few songs that we talked about.
Yes.
I think some of the ideas kind of feel like thrown in there, like, oh hey, we got this song, put it in. Oh hey, we got this song, put it in. Oh hey, we got this song, put it in, instead of it being a project. And while I think that that's not always a problem, I think that has been done better, because the way that you would do that is having everything kind of follow a central theme, like Together Through Time.
Yeah.
Where, it was just, the theme was be happy. And this was like Ayn Rand mixed with colonialism, mixed with dog fights, mixed with fucking Lord of the Rings. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. That's my final thoughts. I don't really have anything. I don't have a thesis for this.
I mean, you love this record.
This record is very sentimental to me, just because it got me into Rush through my dad. But what I think I might be more sentimental about, hopefully, is whatever your next week's pick is gonna be.
Do you even you don't even know what's coming?
I'm gonna try to be. I've locked myself in now, and I'm gonna try to be as sentimental and emotionally vulnerable for this next pick as possible. So whatever pick you end up doing, I am going to have to connect with it emotionally as much as I humanly can. That is my plan.
I'm hesitating because next week's pick... Okay, so a little backstory. We were listening to a record a couple weeks ago because I wanted to show you this record, to introduction to this artist's discography, and I was like, this is starting to kind of piss me off, this record. It's like, what? Yeah.
I think it's the emotion I'm gonna feel, anger.
Yeah, a little more than sentimental or happy. So I was listening to them. I was like, this is nothing like what they ended up as, or where they are right now, or even the record before that. And I just wanted to cover this artist because I feel like we'd have a lot of angry and interesting things to say about it. So next week's pick is Camp by Childish Gambino. You're not gonna have a fucking sentimental time with this.
That's the worst record for me to do that too.
Well, look at it this way. This album has Bonfire on it.
Yeah.
You could take that either negatively or positively.
And that's it. That's all it's got. Nothing else is worth noting.
Yeah, I mean, you were
God
there.
Damn it.
You were there when you listened to it. You saw how like angry I got. It's time to talk about a bad album. It's been a while since we've done like an album that I have a lot to say. That's like, come on, man.
Yeah. All right. Next week, Kanye South.
All right. Goodbye.